Howdy, my name is Roger. I love my country, my truck, and Power Platform best practices. If you're serious about becoming a Power Platform solutions architect, join the Architects Accelerator. Now enough of my fake Southern accent, and let's hear from an actual participant of the program, Anna Black.
Hi, I'm Anna Black. I'm the creator of Power Platform Cookbook. I joined the Architects Accelerator because I saw a post from Magdalena and she was so positive and inspired me to join and see what it's all about. Before joining the accelerator, I was avoiding AI, and then when I saw how to apply AI and practice like soft skills, and it just like it really opened my mind to try different things for myself with different tools and everything. It really helps you to evaluate what you know and what you don't know, because when you are doing your job for like so many years, you might be missing a trick and like a different approach. So it really helped me to look at the problems from a different angle. And it was really great to meet with people and be like a part of another community and exchange ideas and so on. So yeah, lots of benefits that did change my life. So thank you.
The link is in the show notes, or go to untethered365.com to learn more.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Sprint Zero podcast. My name is John Russell and I'm here with my co-partner Crab in Crime, Mike Gowland. Hello Mike, how are you?
Hello John, I'm good. You okay?
I'm very good, yeah. A little bit sad this week, but we'll get to that later. Today we have a very special guest with us, Carl Cookson. Carl is the head of professional services at Power 365 Solutions, and he's a passionate developer and a key contributor to the XrmToolBox community. He shares his insights and experiences on his blog, linked to 365. He also helps curate the top articles related to Power Platform and all things related to development through the Power Platform Dev Weekly email. Thanks for the shout out today, Carl, by the way. Carl is also a regular speaker at various different user groups and conferences. Really just an all-round legend. Welcome to the podcast, Carl, even. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you both?
Yeah, very well, pal.
There's quite a lot of P's in that sentence, and yeah, Carl became Paul.
Yeah, welcome to the podcast, pal. Jeez. Welcome to the podcast, mate, is what it says in the show. I didn't write it, but you are a friend. Nice to have you on here. Do you want to tell us a bit about your background and how you got to where you are today?
Yeah, thank you. I started off a long time ago. I am old, which is a concern for a lot of people, including me. But in doing an engineering degree, and then moved into IT at that point. After that, went to Detroit to learn Visual Basic, as you do in the back when IT companies had money. And then slowly came into CRM in a different CRM, so Pivotal CRM for those old school fans, that was around before Microsoft introduced theirs. One of my biggest regrets was turning down the offer to learn how to do that back in the day, because I thought the Microsoft product wasn't there yet, wasn't going to be good enough, etc. And obviously the way it's been invested in and the marketing machine has given us what it is today. So various roles, doing development and architecture and team management and all those good things up until I joined one of the big, and had a couple of roles at GSI level until I've come now to Power 365 as an architect and head of professional service, worrying about making sure everyone's doing the right thing and pushing through customers and their journeys, really.
Nice. Is this your first head of practice role?
Yeah, and that doesn't really... I think, yeah, it is. My previous role was helping lead the large practice at Capgemini, but this is my first, but it's very different. And it doesn't really... I've never had any hang-up over titles and what they mean. It's more about what the role is. The role has to be something that gets me up in the morning, gets me excited, and gives me the opportunity to encourage people and to thrive myself. So it doesn't really matter on those roles.
Nice. And in the intro, we talked about the XrmToolBox and the kind of things that you've done there. Can you share with us how you got involved with that and what inspired you to develop tools for that?
What inspired me was a frustration, a lack of when I was a consultant, when I was an architect, documentation, and all my tools are around trying to improve that consultant process, the architect process. So documenting the relationship diagrams, documenting flows and things like that. Inspired by Jonas and Tanguay, and Jonas will tell me off for saying Tanguay wrong because I can't pronounce it. But those guys are just, another level. The way they develop, and I can't even comprehend getting to that level. So, and just talking with those guys and discussing with them and really copying their code in a lot of ways just to get where I wanted to be, is really where I see that, and it just inspires me that people are still using them, still wanting change, etc., and really helping out. So yeah, all good.
No, Mike's on mute. I love it.
Oh, was Mike on mute?
You'll edit that out.
Yeah.
Mike was on mute.
No.
Yeah,
Keep
I was just saying if you could lip read. I've used some of your tools in the past. They're great. XrmToolBox. That's just an incredible tool. I remember when I discovered it when I started at ANS, and it just like some of the stuff I needed to do. It was just there, and it's free to use. Right? It's
Yeah.
crazy.
That is the thing that is annoying or is a concern, is that if you're coming from the Power Platform world, it's not something that you've been brought up with. And me, that's coming from the Dynamics world, it's just been part of the DNA for the last however long it's been around, 15 years.
Yeah.
And every time I go into an organisation and they're not using it because they just don't know about it, it's sort of like an eye-opener for them.
Yeah. I mean, if you're ever stuck, if I've ever been stuck in a Power Platform implementation, apart from asking Mike, normally there'll be something in XrmToolBox that's going to help. Yeah. Even if I don't know what it is, it's like one of my key tools in the arsenal to like go to that and just look and see if there's something. I remember the environment variable one. That's got me out of holes quite a few times.
But with great power comes great responsibility, right?
Yeah.
It can also be a very dangerous tool to use.
But it's only piggying back off permissions that you've got, right? And I think that's all the same with all the community tools. From the XrmToolBox to the Power Up, Level Up tool in Chrome, they're just going off what you can do. It's just Microsoft obfuscate that around a UI. So there's still everything you can do.
So here's an interesting topic, I guess, around XrmToolBox. Do you think that there are core features that are not available in the out-of-the-box product that are already on XrmToolBox? And do you think the fact they're on XrmToolBox influences how quickly Microsoft might bring those into the product?
Absolutely. I think there's lots of tools that are part of that set that have come about because we can react quicker as developers. We've not got the quality control that others have, the Microsoft stack has. We don't care about previous versions or that complicated integration with that thing over there that only 3 people in the whole world use, that sort of thing. But I think it does reflect. I think there's been times when I've spoken with the product group that they've they're never going to endorse it, but they know that they're there for a reason, and that's why they've gone API first. So everything they're doing now is API first, on the assumption that because the UI takes a lot longer, right? It goes through a lot more cycles to get right and be accessible and all those good things. But they're releasing a lot of tools that are API first, and then the pack CLI on top of that, and that's when, as an XrmToolBox developer, you can get involved, because as soon as that API is available, we can get in.
I can't remember what it was. I can't remember if it was Fetch XML Builder or another tool, but I swear there's some guidance on one of the Microsoft Learn pages, which is like just use XrmToolBox.
There is, so even that Learn documentation is all on GitHub, right? So you can go and do a pull request and change something. So I've done that for when there's the one we were talking about earlier, the enterprise relationship. There was like a list of community tools that could do it, and I just added my own, submitted the pull request, and 3 or 4 weeks later it appears once they reviewed it. It's a community tool, and that you can obviously know that they're using it from the stats I get from the tools and stats everybody else gets from the tools. And it's in a place where, Microsoft are not going to endorse it, but they're going to allow it to continue. Because of those reasons, that they're not going to be able to fix every problem. They're not going to go back and resolve issues. They're more likely to create new things.
Something that has interested me about XrmToolBox development then. So you've built a tool in XrmToolBox. You go and release that. That's then available on that XrmToolBox marketplace, that tools browser. What's the process to get your tool in there?
You've got to package it up and publish it on NuGet. So you then tell Tanguy about it on that XrmToolBox site. You create a login and submit a tool. He'll go and have a look at that package and check that it meets his requirements, which tend to be, he'll run it up, load it, do some bits, make sure that you've got the properties are right, and things that he needs to make sure it's published within the toolbox itself. Because you're working locally, and there's a whole, NuGet process that you don't get involved as a local developer. And then he agrees it, and then it gets published, and that's it. So
easy.
Yeah, it is that easy, but it's down to one guy in France to approve it.
Yeah,
which is normally not a concern at all.
No. So in today's digital age, online communities play a crucial role in connecting like-minded individuals. So as somebody who's built a strong online presence, what advice would you give to any shy individuals, myself included, looking to engage more in these communities?
I'm with you, Mike. I'm an introvert. I only am quite extrovert when I know people. So I'm the one that will be hovering around the outside of the dance floor and not wanting to talk to strangers. But, once I know people, I'm loud and obnoxious like everybody else, I think. From an online point of view, I think it's just knowing that everyone's in the same boat. As long as you're not being crude or offensive or anything that's going to be taken in the wrong way, responding to things and getting involved in a conversation is the best way to get people on your radar. And I think you've both been through the Mark Smith's 90-day, the whole thing about interaction and growth there, that he's very much, if you want to get people to take you seriously, they've got to know about you.
Yeah.
And that comes from interacting and putting your point of view across.
Yeah.
But also being open about it and being able to take the same the other way.
Yeah. And obviously respectful, which,
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that comes with it, but yeah. Thanks a lot for getting me on that. I noticed this morning I was on the Power Platform Dev Weekly email. So appreciate that.
So that wasn't me, by the way. That was Lynn. So we take it. We have a pair each time.
Oh right, okay.
And my role this week was just to curate it. So I added the bit in about Scottish Summit, and the wow thing for me, the 5,000 subscribers we've got now, is sort of quite amazing. But I didn't select your article.
All right.
Not to say it wasn't any good. I'm just saying don't thank me. That was thank Lynn.
It's interesting, actually. Do you want to talk a little bit about how that works then and where that started?
So it's all started with Dinesh, who's still the main man, Dinesh Naglikar, I think, who works in the US and is a developer's developer, really. And he reached out on one of the streams about wanting someone to help him. And that's where I came in. So it was me and him for quite a while, as in every other week. But that takes a lot out of your time. It takes 2 or 3 hours to bring all that together and put it together. So we expanded the team then, and we brought in Anshwar, who's over in India, Lynn, who's in New Zealand, Mark and Matt, Mark Carrington and Matt Beard from the UK. So we've got really quite a diverse group now. And you can tell that within our writing because we've all got a different point of view, what makes a developer story. And I tend to be more on the functional side and trying to get the wider view. And then Dinesh is very much like, well, it's not got any code in it, therefore it's not a developer story, So, and you can tell that in each of the weeks are different, and each of the weeks have got a different uptake and all the rest of it, just depending on what people see. But yeah, I've been doing that for a long while now, and I basically do it once a month probably now.
Okay.
Probably even less.
Yeah.
Which
So
is
can you
no harm.
can you think of anything that you've put in there that's kind of like really like, you've looked at it and gone, wow, that's pretty epic.
I think a lot of the stuff that I see, certainly around the stuff that Christine and I'm not even going to try and pronounce her surname, does, and a lot of the people that are doing the PCS stuff like Diana, etc., that the proper dev stuff that is well and beyond my level, that's what I get excited about, because I think that's where I know that I've got a weakness, is in that full-on dev role. And understanding from an architecture point of view what's the art of the possible is where I need to be. And seeing that making them apps look really good is really nice to see.
And I think also there's a skill in there, right, of being able to translate that into something that's readable, that you can look through that blog post and understand what they've done. There's one thing writing the code and doing it, but it's another thing to, I guess that's part of a documentation skill, right, is to relay that for consumption by anyone.
I think that's, everyone's got their own method. You look at MCJ and his approach to it, videoing everything. I think it gives him the outlet he needs, and he'd rather do that than write stuff down. And I'm the opposite. I can't do video. I hate it. I don't like seeing my own face.
I keep toying with the idea of doing video, but I don't have the time. I'm an introvert that runs a podcast. Like,
the amount of time it takes to edit. The amount of time it takes to edit things is just.
If you do it in one shot, that'd be great. But I just don't think that's.
I haven't got the skill to do that.
No, I think that's interesting what you say about the bits that you really like about the community, and like Christine and Diane. I think my weak area is similar to yours, probably. That kind of like pro code / fusion code area. And I need to get past the fact that I'm not passionate about it. Like I look at training courses and think, oh yeah, I could probably invest some time in kind of understanding JavaScript and going all the way through that. But yeah, it's like I need to get past that.
But I don't think I think anyone that's got an architect needs to know the art of the possible, really.
Yeah.
Needs to know, right, okay, this is the limitation. We could do it like this, and get someone that's a friendly developer to do it for you. And that's my take now.
Rather than the actual doing.
Exactly.
And that's the same across all the apps, right? You need to know what marketing does. It's like, can it do X, Y, and Z? What would the limitations of marketing be?
Yeah.
And that my limitations compared to a marketing expert like Marlin would be very different as well, right?
Yeah, it's like have a broad awareness of all, but specialise in one or more.
I think
platform pub landlord.
Well, that's the Capgemini way as well, isn't it, John? You'll know this. It's that the T, effectively, it's great to have a wide T top, but then a deep understanding in 2 or 3 areas, really.
Yeah.
Carl, you've listened to the podcast before, I presume?
Yes.
So you'll know we have this regular section called Uncomfortable Corner.
Uncomfortable Corner.
So, Carl,
I was waiting for that intro.
Yeah, we play it in the episode. I think it catches people off. It's actually live and you hear it, rather than it's not added in post. We genuinely scream like that every episode. Carl, when was the last time you felt uncomfortable, whether that was in or out of work? And how did you feel? How did you manage to get through it? And what did you learn from it?
Well, first of all, I've done very well at not swearing in this podcast because I realise you have to edit them out. So in that degree, I'm going to list some words for you, Mike. Ass, bloody, mother, bullshit, cock, mother, Jesus, Jesus Christ, holy God damn it, kid, and cock.
Challenge accepted.
I've just gone track and field on the Mark Clip bit.
Yeah, and being uncomfortable, I get uncomfortable a lot. So I'm coming from a northern family, a northern England family, Catholic upbringing, that has been very reserved, and that is probably normal of my age group in the north, really. And that don't talk about things that.
Sorry, what was that?
Set!
Yeah, exactly. And now that I am involved in the community, everyone's attitude to sex is very different, and I get
You
very
can say
embarrassed.
sex, I'll just bleep.
Yeah.
I won't bleep it out.
You find it hard to say the word even?
No, not at all.
Okay, all right. Just
I don't mind swearing and saying fuck and shagging and pissing and rimming, all that sort of stuff you're going to talk about. But what I get uncomfortable with,
I'm not going to bleep Primmy now.
what I get uncomfortable with is when people come up to, when I'm in a conversation and they're talking about things of a sexual nature. It's certainly a lot of the friends that I've got now are a lot younger than me, a lot more open in their ways.
They talk about
No, well, yes, but no. And that happens all the time. I'll get into a conversation and I'm just like, but I'm known for it now though. So people will actually start to come up to me and start that conversation, knowing that I'll be squirming in the corner and not happy about it.
I mean, you've really just. I didn't know that. Oh,
No.
You're knackered. You're knackered next
No,
time.
no. And but it's just like getting over that. Hugging is something that I wasn't comfortable before I started with this. Everyone hugs each other and has that contact, which is perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But from a northerner that is nearly 50, that just doesn't
there's no
ring true
physical
with me.
contact. You just can't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And just being around others that are not, and they're all the things that they talk about, it just would be something that would make me squirm if it was in, and it still does make me squirm.
Yeah, fair enough.
But then again, I'll have a sweary teacher on. I'll have I'm quite happy to have those sort of things. But when it actually comes to talking about it, I'm like, And
Do you think it's ever something that you would get comfortable with?
I don't think so.
No.
Because I just don't think that it's just not my way of thinking about things. I'm quite reserved, quite introverted, quite happy.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about things that are personal to me. There is very much a separation of my community and my home life.
Yeah.
And those kids amongst us that are merging those two worlds a lot and are quite open in their habits.
Yeah. I always remember first time meeting you. I'm pretty sure the first time I met you was in Stockholm for Nordic Summit. And I came up to you and you're like, all right, John. I was like, well, first of all, I was a bit like starstruck because I've followed you and read your blog for a long time. But what you said then about you standing on the edge of the dance floor, you literally were standing on the edge of the dance floor. And I kind of flipped between, like, Mike's definitely an introvert. I would say I'm like an extroverted introvert, bit like you. Like, if I really know who I'm with, then I'm completely off the rails, probably. But if not, then I'm a little bit, maybe a little bit more shy. I don't know if shy is the right word, but like I saw you and I went over to you. Like, we just had a great time. It was wicked. Yeah.
I know. Don't get me wrong. I love going out in the community. I love going to Scottish Summit today and getting involved. But it's now my safe space because it's all my friends effectively.
Yeah.
And I know the majority of people, and then I use it as my power, recognising that there is some guy that's not in the group, there is some person that you want to try and get involved, and once I've had a couple of beers, I'm quite open to go and have a chat with them.
Yeah.
So that's how I am, but I don't drink anymore, so I'm kind of screwed with networking.
How's your cycle ride going?
Well, the Brighton one,
No, I thought you were riding more last time I heard.
Oh
you.
yeah. I still
Yeah.
ride loads.
Good.
Well, as much as I can. But I did the London Brighton ride back in
Nice.
September. I managed to do that in 5-ish hours or so.
Well, is that like 100 meters or something?
About 55 miles. And,
Yeah.
I'm going to put it out there publicly. Mike has asked me to do it with him next year. So there we go. There it is.
I don't want to see you in Lycra. I do not want to see you in
great
Lycra.
in Lycra.
Yeah, I'm not in Lycra, and nobody can see this on the episode. But this is an old chat, John. I was telling you last night about how my clothes are just hanging off me now. Look at that.
Yeah.
That is like.
I'm the same now. I got below 17 stone for the first time in however long, and had to buy some new jeans. The wife is saying they look like just can't see you. So going the right way, slowly. Yeah,
Awesome
good stuff.
Nice one. We briefly touched on the Scottish Summit. Obviously, this is going to go out after that. Bit gutted we can't be there, but it is what it is.
I can't believe we won the award. Wait. I'm gutted we didn't win the award.
Yeah, you could put one of those in. Yeah, I am on the committee for that award, Mike. So I probably could tell you, but I won't. I won't spoil it.
No.
I'll edit the out if.
Right, well, thank you very much, Carl, for being here with us today. I really appreciate it. Links to your website and Power Platform Dev Weekly, etc., will be in the show notes. Any other links that we mentioned will also be in the show notes. Music today was provided by our good friend Ken Like Fit. You can find his music on Spotify, the link to which you can also find in the show notes. And any additional music that we've used will also be there too. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss the next episode. And we'd really appreciate it if you'd give us a follow on LinkedIn. We're trying to get to 1,000. I think we're nearly near 900. And if you're enjoying the podcast, please give us a review on your chosen podcast platform. Put my teeth in. Thank you. This has been Sprint Zero, and we've been Mike Gowland. Say goodbye, Mike.
Goodbye, Pike.
Carl Cookson. Say goodbye, Carl.
Bye, you fuck.
And I'm John,
Love
and
you
I'll see
too.
you on the next episode. Thanks a lot, guys. Cheers. Love you, Carl. Love you, Mike.
Love you, boys.
Yes.
Hey, how you doing? Have you heard about the Architects Accelerator course? If not, you definitely should check it out. Let me tell you some more about it. So the Architects Accelerator course is a course that's run by Sean Astrahan. He's based in the US. He's a lovely fellow, really. And yeah, it's basically bridging that gap for solution architects and wannabe solution architects who maybe need to have a bit more of some advanced topics to talk about and advanced things to look into. One of the best bits about the course is how much effort Sean and his team have put into creating a community of vibe around it. He's got lots of integrations working, and you can work out when the next sessions are, have a look at people's intros, discuss technical topics and help out. It's a really, really good community. I'm John Russell from the Sprint Zero podcast, and just wanted to say thank you to Sean and for his continued sponsorship. If you want to find out more about the Accelerator course, please have a look at the link in the episode description.